Hello everyone, my name is Atomic Coasters, and welcome to episode 5 of Plantia Pier. It's honestly kind of surprising that we're already on episode 5, but here we are. So this episode I really had, at the beginning when I was just planning out what I wanted to do with this section of the park, I had no idea. Originally I was going to put a Schwarzkopf looper in place of where this, the stuff that I'm doing right now is, but I couldn't get it to work. I'm not that great at designing Schwarzkopfs. And then I decided to do a Chance Hyper GTX. That didn't work either. And so I ended up just scrapping the idea of putting a big roller coaster here, and instead I figured I should put a little kids area. And so that's what I'm adding into this little section. I started out with a nice little helicopters ride, which is going to be changed within a little bit, and then also just adding a couple more little details, little like crooked house and stuff. I'm not the best when it comes to designing kids areas because I don't really spend a lot of time at them when I'm at parks, so I'm not super experienced with them. Like I've spent my fair amount of time in Planet Snoopy and Kidsville at Canada's Wonderland since me and my friends. There's some fun rides there, like Boo Blasters and Ghost Coaster and all that, but most of the time I spend at the major rides, so I don't spend a lot of time in kids area, so I don't really know how they're laid out. But I tried to go kind of off of memory, and then also just kind of like messing around, making something that I think looks nice. And then I'm also deciding to start working on the little main plaza strip area, I guess what to call it. Just adding a bunch of buildings. This whole area is probably going to be full of buildings. I want it to be kind of like the Cedar Point Midway. I'm gonna find a way to make some Midway looking games. I feel like that would be a nice little addition to the park. So anyways, this building that I'm working on right here, it was originally, I had no idea what this was originally going to be, but then I decided to make this a sort of big theater pavilion area, sort of like the, Jack Aldrich Theater at Cedar Point? Something sort of like that, a nice classic hall, I guess is the best way to call it. So that's what I kind of worked on here. I don't know. This was a kind of interesting building. It was kind of difficult given the shape of it, but I think it turned out pretty nice looking. I actually had some inspiration from I think it was Lake Winnipesaukee. It was one of the parks in that documentary about old amusement parks. I'll post a link to the documentary I'm talking about in the comments. But I think it was Lake Winnipesaukee. But I had a bit of inspiration from the ballroom there. If it's not Lake Winnipesaukee and it's a different park, then please correct me because yeah. So anyways, right behind this little theater, I added a small SBF Visa spinning coaster, which I thought that this was a nice little addition to add to the park. I think that it would be fitting for a small park like this, like how Waldameer has theirs now. I think that this is a nice little small addition. It wouldn't be that costly for the park. It has a really small footprint. I think that this would be something that a park like this would add. And so I like the idea that they kind of just crammed this entire kids area in between the big wooden coaster and the main street. I like that they tried to cram this entire kids area into a really small plot of land. And so yeah, I'm just continuing the main street a little bit here. I still have no idea how I'm going to connect up the back section of the park and the front section to make it look nice. Yeah, I still don't know how. So I also decided to add a little Ferris wheel. I'm probably going to end up changing this. I don't really like its position right there, directly next to the wooden coaster. I think I might put it further back, or just in a completely different spot in the park. A little magic carpet ride there as well, which I think was a pretty nice addition. And then after this, I wanted to fit another roller coaster back here. And so what I decided on building was actually a side friction coaster. And I thought that this would be kind of interesting to build. I've never built one before like this, and so I thought that this would be a really nice little addition. It kind of gives the park a lot of history, I think, and I think that that's something that makes it look really nice, is having, like, telling that there's all those different, like, the different eras of the park, I guess. And so if I had to date this coaster, I'd say it was probably sometime around the 1910s-ish. I might, I've had this idea in my mind for both this series and actually the original Plantia Lake series before it stopped working. I had an idea for making like a full history of video, sort of like making like a video for a real park, except it was for a Roller Coaster Tycoon park. And so just there I'm adding a little please don't stand up sign. Once again, neither of those coasters, the SBF Visa spinning coaster or the side friction coaster, neither of them have names. If you have any good names, please leave them in the comments, because that would be really nice. So anyways, I've decided to finish off this little kids area with one little building, which is a nice pizza place. And so I kind of based this off of one that I built in Planet Coaster not too long ago, just by myself. I think that this is a really nice little design for a little pizza place. I think it fits the kids area well, because who doesn't love pizza? And so just adding in everything to it, I think it looks pretty nice. I added more of those Georgian red brick roofs because they are a great piece to use to make sort of roofs like that. I also added a little bit of trim using some just regular black walls there. And then for the rest of this, I'm just adding a bunch of foliage around, some smaller trees and bushes and shrubs and stuff, just to give the kids area a bit more character. And I think that this is just a nice little addition. Here is where I decided to work around the helicopters a little bit, so that way I could finish the addition to the theater, which this is just going to be like a staff-only building or something. It's just like a nondescript building, really. And then I kind of just paused for a little bit. I decided to get open up all the rides and get some guests in here, just because I wanted to see what the park would actually look like if it was really open. And so I just used the OpenRCT2 cheat to spawn in a bunch of people. I had a nice little fountain in front of this area. I think that this is also a nice little addition. As you can see, all the people are now filing into the park. And let me just say, just with getting a couple peeps in there, this place looks so much more lively. And I highly suggest, if you're ever building something in Roller Coaster Tycoon, I highly suggest just going in and getting a couple, just spawning in a bunch of guests, and just seeing how it looks when there's actually people. Because originally I wasn't like really feeling this place that much, but when I added in all the guests, it just all started to come together really nicely, and I think that is what makes this game so special. So anyways, I'm going to leave you guys with the rest of the time lapse. I'm Atomic Coasters, and thank you all very much for watching. Alright, so here we are in a little bit of a real-time portion, just talking about the park, and this is what the entrance looks like with a bunch of guests. And it looks a lot more lively. Like I said in the time-lapse, just getting in... let me just hire some handymen. But just getting guests in the park and just walking around all of your different buildings, it makes the game feel so much more alive. And it makes all of the rides that you build feel a lot more substantial. But anyways, this is the Kiddie area that we built. I think I'm probably going to change the location of the Ferris wheel, though. Probably somewhere else in the park, and then I might just put another restaurant or a restaurant facility or gift shop or something in this where the Ferris wheel is, just because I feel like that area isn't super well suited for a Ferris wheel. I think that there could definitely be a better spot somewhere else in the park. But anyways, just having guests in the park makes this place feel so much more lively. And I really like this little side friction coaster as well. I think that it's a really nice little fit. It gives the park a lot of history behind it. And I think that it was a really nice fit for the park. So anyways, that's it for this episode of OpenRCT2 Plantia Pier. I'm Atomic Coasters, and I hope to see you all in the next video.